Welcome back to episode 114 of the Disorganized Wizard Club podcast. My name is Alex, and we're as always with Adam.
Hello.
And Cam.
Hello.
And we're a group of Ottawa-based players who play just about anything and everything we can qualify for. Talk about decks, tournament stories, just about anything to help you and ourselves get better at Magic.
Yes, definitely.
Most definitely. Man, we've got so much to talk about today.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler season is over.
Now it's normal new card season.
Yeah.
Bruin season begins.
Our new cards are now allowed to be considered good.
Yeah, this is pretty borderline.
They are allowed to
Is
be
it?
considered. Doesn't mean it's wise to consider them good.
Yeah, still unclear. Yeah, we're going to work. We have a Google Drive going, actually, for the DWC deck dump.
Oh yeah, deck dump.
That we
Brew
gotta-
ideas
Yeah,
that we
did
got to
you
work
guys
on.
put decks in there yet? I have.
No, we're going to...
Slow.
We start on tomorrow night or Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had a lot going on,
Same.
and I'm gone next week, and
Yeah, so I think the
we'll
plan
find
is
some time
Friday.
for brewing.
Yeah, is that what we're going to do? I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I mean we'll brew in the next couple days.
We're in the next couple of days. We're going to sit down and jam X-Mage games for like...
You know what I was thinking might be cool is if the week that we do the deck dump episode was if we all got together to and put a few decks together on Arena and then just did a stream with some deck dump lists.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It could be sweet.
Yeah, we could do that.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, since I've probably I'm going to waste all my wild cards on dumb prime speaker Vanifar decks and just be miserable that I crafted all these dumb decks on Arena and I just wasted all my, wild cards and I'm stuck with unplayable garbage. Like,
I mean, I guess so. Like a stream, us streaming.
we'll have to use your account is what I'm saying.
Us streaming on Arena our deck dump lists. I mean, it'll be kind of interesting, but I feel like it'd be boring overall and not good storytelling because you need tension to create, interest. And if we know we're going to 5-0 every event, then there's just there's no shock. There's nothing to wait to see what, maybe.
When the hero doesn't struggle at all.
Yeah, it's just the
I don't
Superman
know, One
problem.
Punch Man was pretty good.
Right, but that's because his struggles weren't in the fight. It was in getting the grocery store deals.
Yeah, that is true. Or, and that's like Superman too, though. The struggle isn't in the fight.
Why does he need to go to the grocery store? Doesn't he just float up into the sun?
Does he eat? I can't remember.
I thought he was a plant.
He definitely eats.
Isn't he just really strong?
He's
'cause the
raised
sun's-
as a normal boy.
All right. He should hang out with Pinocchio.
That's the superhero crossover pairing that the DC universe needs to save their franchise. The Pinocchio Superman crossover.
Pinocchio and Superman go to counseling. Deal with their weird childhoods.
Superman v Pinocchio. But yeah, we should do a stream.
Could be fun. But anyway, we're going to be talking about spoilers today. It's our top 10 episode. We've whittled these down to our top 10 for this time around. Do you want to kick this list off, Adam, with your favorite card?
Yeah. Well, also disclaimer, as usual, these are cards that we think are sweet as well. Maybe a couple maybe we'll be accused of one or two on here being kind of boring, but we try and keep the top 10 at least cards that are sort of we think both have the potential to see play, but also are pretty rad.
We don't want the boring, powerful cards like Superman. We want the sweet, powerful cards. The Pinocchios.
We want the Pinocchio nose. Just a nose. That's what we're here for. Yeah. Growing. Yeah, growing. So, because, we don't have, what's the card? It's not Befuddle. What's it called? Befoul. No, that kills lands. The red-black Hero's Downfall.
Bedevil.
Dreadbolt.
Yeah, Bedevil.
Oh, Bedevil.
Yeah, that's not on our top 10. Spoiler.
But it's obviously powerful
Because
and
it's
it's
just-
going to see play.
Yeah, it's just obviously good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's same with Mortify. It's not even in our honorable mentions.
They'll be
because-
around. Absorb.
Right.
Might
These
see
are just
play.
these are cards that just are sort of evergreen playables. It's what's the joy of putting efficient removal on your top 10? It's imagine. Remember, it's I think we didn't put Fatal Push on our top 10 because we were this is obviously the best card in set. We said it. I think maybe it was either that or it was our number one. I can't remember.
Yeah. We had, what was it? One set was so weak. We just had a Braid as number one and we didn't want to do the rest of the list.
because everything was so bad.
Yeah.
It was like hour or whatever.
You mean the set was
We're
Scarab
scared
God?
about, yeah, we missed that.
No, Scarab God was on our list.
Was it?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
But
it was.
we definitely made the joke in that episode that a braid was like probably the only card that would see play.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
for that year it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we're not like we moved away from that maybe like we used to, but I think the last like 3 or 4 episodes, right? We like we don't put like a braids on the list because it's just it's too obvious.
Yeah.
So this is all preamble so that people don't mock me ruthlessly
For leaving cards off the list.
well, no, for my number 10 that I insist be on here, which is Prime Speaker Vanavar.
Man, this card's sweet though.
It just seems so fun, and we talked about it last week with Rhythm of the Wild, and I just think like there are so many cool creatures in the format, and not just the sort of afterlife. If you know, because the mana's fine, it's gonna be fine. I think you can get there pretty quick with Growth Spiral and other things. And cast her a little early if you have Rhythm of the Wild. She has haste, which makes it a little better. Like it's obviously not as good as Pod, but I think it's sweet. And I think that like the games where your Jade Light Ranger hits 2 lands, but then you can sack it to go get a Chupacabra will make it all worth it. And then
I'm ready.
And then you can go get Muldrotha off whatever 5
That's
drop.
the one I'm really looking forward to.
And then just start recasting.
So
all your creatures have persist. Basically better than Kitchen Banks.
today being the 16th, it's the streamer early access, right? So a bunch of streamers have got accounts with all the cards in the set, and they've just been playing standard against each other. And I saw a bunch of people bring around Prime Speaker Vanavar, and I saw Andrew Cuneo playing early in the day with a 4-color, not white Prime Speaker deck with Rhythm of the Wild, Nicol Bolas, Vivictus, and like just hasting out these like ridiculous huge dragons. And
Did he cite us?
it looks so freaking.
That's academic
sweet.
dishonesty.
What was it? Yeah, see, it seems sweet.
Yeah. But yeah, this card, I think people are going to try and make it work. It seems really awesome.
Yeah, and like you can obviously just build your deck so that, you know, if you don't draw it, you're just playing a normal, you know, range deck or whatever it is. And then if you do, like you have lots of sweet options. Like that's not that hard to do.
Yeah. Saw someone haste out in a Tally Primal Storm.
Yeah. Oh, that's sweet.
Sack the 5-drop with a Rhythm of the Wild and just, it was real sweet.
That is really sweet.
See, this card's just awesome. There's so many different things it can do. So many different
Yeah, and I like that it's not sort of like, you know, Scrib Rangers went up like a ton of money in Modern, by the way, just because of this card.
Yeah.
Scrib Rangers?
Yeah, it's like on tap.
It's like pick up a forest and untap a creature you control, or
Yeah.
discard a forest. Something to do with forests and it untaps a creature.
Yeah, so like this card, it's because it combos with this dumb Modern.
Yeah.
But anyway, I like that there's like a lot of constraints on the card too. Like I like that it's fair in some way, you know? I like that it's not an infinite combo. Like I was thinking about this, you know, last week we talked about, is there a way to untap? And it's like, we were just looking to be Munchkins, you know? And it's like, it's actually kind of sweet that it's just a fair engine. And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's really sweet. And I think it has potential in Standard. Like, its fail state is like not great, but I mean, 4 toughness is pretty good in Standard. So
We're going to see a lot of Lava Coil going forward. I can tell you that.
Yeah, maybe. I'm actually not convinced. Lava Coil is like kind of clunky to just like be in everything, you know?
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not in everything right now. And like, there's so many options that like, yeah. I've heard other people say that too. And I don't know.
I think between like the new instant speed removal spells we were just talking about, like, wouldn't you rather just play Shocks and Strikes and Bedevil, Mortify,
The problem is,
Vasquez Contempt?
the problem is the
Depends.
decks that like, yeah, it just depends. Like the mid-range decks will all play Lava Coil, yeah. Like I think that like green-red Stompy will play Lava Coil, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like in archetypes, like, but I don't think like people will like warp their deck to play like a removal spell in this standard format.
No.
That's what I mean. Like, but yeah, Lava Coil definitely going to be good going forward. I like better than it has been, and it's already been like pretty good because of Drake's. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I wonder how powerful all these new cards are. That it's like, are they better than just Wild Growth Walker or Green Black? You know what I mean? Like, is that where we're gonna end up with just some like sideboard cards?
Yeah, that would be pretty depressing, wouldn't it? If just.
But I don't think it will because the mana's so good. Like that you can play like the Simic. I think Simic is going to change. You know, like
I also don't buy a world where, okay, let's assume that the green-black, just the shell as it is with some minor changes, is the best shell. I also, I don't see them not splashing different colors each week, trying to, out mid-range each other.
yeah, but more importantly, why would they not just add blue to play Prime Speaker Vanifar?
Well, yeah, I mean, they should.
Oh, I don't have an Explorer creature. I'll just sack this one Wild Growth Walker. I still have another one in play, you know? Who knows?
Your elves turn into wild growth walkers? It's insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nuts.
Gee.
Because how many times have you played green-black and you play your J-Light Ranger and you have nothing really else in hand, and then it's top is a Wild Growth Walker? What do you do?
Goddamn.
You've been it, right?
I've been it.
Right,
time.
yeah, me too. That's what I mean. Yeah, because you're because the card under it's not going to be a goddamn J-Light Ranger. You know what I mean? How many times does that happen to you?
All the time. Way too much.
Constantly. That's all I think about whenever I play green-black. I'm like, yeah, can't wait to explore into a Wild Growth Walker on top and then just not have any more Explore cards left in my hand when I play this dumb card. Oh, look, there it is. Get in the bin. It's actually so funny. It's but this, this solves it.
There we go.
There's just so much that you can do that's sweet with this deck. Did we even mention on the last episode that you can just keep sacking Reassembling Skeleton?
No, we didn't. Or the new guy. That people like Rattle Bones.
Gutter Bones.
That is a sweet name, though. Gutter Bones.
Gutter Bones, yeah.
Yeah. You can just keep doing that over and over if you want.
That is awesome.
Any 3-drop in my deck for 2 mana.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Okay.
Moving on, I guess.
Moving on. Number 9. Growth Spiral.
Gotta cast your card fast.
Mm-hmm.
Blue and a green. Instant. Draw a card. You may put a land from your hand into play. This card's going to see, out of all the cards on our list, I think it's safe to say this card might see the second most amount of play.
Yeah, second or third.
Yeah. This card is incredibly good. And it, I don't know.
Explore is a good card. That's it. It's just Explorer, but yeah, instant speed, and I don't know how much that really matters. Later in the game, if you have counter magic, you can, you know what I mean? Or post board, if you're playing against control decks, you can leave up negate and then you can decide, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a really good card.
There's no lands of ETBs that matter at the moment, right?
There's Scry.
There's Scry. I guess you could
Because it comes into play tapped, that's actually kind of
or
really
the memorials.
Yeah, none of them really matter that much.
Unless they're gates and you have a Guild Summit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could flash in Field of Ruin and snipe an Azcanta when they're not expecting it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
Activate Azcanta. Well, in response.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this card's really sweet and it's going to see a ton of play. And I look forward to casting Crackling Drakes on turn 3.
Yeah, that's obnoxious.
I'm definitely gonna have hands that are 2-land this on the draw and miss.
Yeah,
It's
but who
gonna
cares?
suck.
There's just cycles.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
fine.
But then I'm still stuck on 2 lands.
Yeah, but you're closer towards a land.
That is true.
You're closer towards not being as miserable.
See, you just got to look at the positives.
Yeah, dude, I'm a hopeful. If anything, I'm an optimist.
Yeah. All right, Cam, you want to take
Actually, Cam's just destroyed by this.
Adam confirmed most optimistic guy on the podcast. Cam, you're going to be able to read this next one?
You know, whereas in reality, I miss my second land drop. I just concede.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Cam's seen it. He's like, no, we can still win. I'm like, not worth it. I just concede. I actively lately have been trying to not just God damn it, just go and just concede because it's because the amount of people who just throw away games online when you play Magic and in paper, who just throw away games. I'm like, maybe I should play it out and they'll screw, and they always do. And I've learned wait, I shouldn't just be yeah, I missed my land, concede. It's just so miserable. Yeah. Yeah, what are you gonna do? You know what card? This card will help you hit your land drop. So
Yeah. Next up, Rick's Maddie Reveler. Or Maddie Reveler.
Mahdi.
Maddie.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know.
Is that Dutch?
Afrikaans.
South
African, maybe.
It's South African.
Probably, yeah. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Huh.
I had a South African roommate when I was in undergrad. Well, he was Russian, but then he lived in South Africa for a while, so he had like a really weird accent in English. It was Russian South African.
Huh.
Yeah. And I watched Chappie recently, featuring Die Antwoord.
Yeah. Isn't it D Antwoord?
It could be D Antwoord.
I think it's D Antwoord.
Yeah, my Dutch is not as good as my
Your impersonation of a Dutch
of a South African
familial language that has an accent related to Dutch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when this enters the battlefield, you can discard a card, then draw a card. It costs 1 and a red, and it's a 2/2, so that's already pretty good. But it also has a spectacle cost. So if your opponent lost life, you can pay 2 generic, a black, and a red, and you have a 4-mana 2/2 that lets you discard your hand and draw 3 cards, which you're probably doing when you have less than 3 cards in hand. So pretty good. You're just drawing cards.
I would hope.
Yeah, just a 2-mana Rummager, 2-mana 2/2 Rummager in an aggressive deck could be pretty good. You know, just pitch a land.
I feel like this card is almost what I wanted Dismissive Pyromancer to be.
Yeah. Yeah, when we were playing red decks and trying to find some way to sort of filter out lands.
Yeah, but the fact that you like couldn't attack with Pyromancer if you used its Rummage and then you had to pay mana for it was like it just was a bit too slow.
Mm-hmm.
But this could just like it does it sort of for free and then it starts attacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and theoretically you could just play this mono red decks if you wanted the Rummage effect, which probably isn't good enough, like on its own, but it may be.
Yeah.
So that's nice, but yeah, the fact that it could be in the Judith decks, and it's a human, right, which is relevant for the sort of Judith, Hunted Witness, Unclaimed Territory, Tajik, human aggro deck, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and the fact that, you know, when you have no cards in hand and you just attack them for 1 with your Hunted Witness because they wrath you and you just have the Soldier lifelink left over, no cards in hand, and you play you know what I mean? And then you get to draw 3 for 4. You draw 3 and have a 2/2 for 4 mana. That seems like...
It's definitely going to claw those aggro decks out of a lot of holes.
Yeah, it just seems like it has... It could also line up that the way the removal and format works with like the creatures in those colors, like that this sees 0 play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it just might not line up well, that you don't get to spectacle it very easily. And if that's the case, then like, yeah, oof. But if you can just have Hunted Witnesses or some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some sort of token left over from whatever and hit them with it, then, or you just have a shock in hand, right? Like,
yeah, definitely.
Drawing 3 is like whenever something says draw 3, you know, for like, no mana, basically, you should probably consider.
That's a lot.
You know, like 4 mana, draw 3 with a 2/2 body is like insanity.
Yeah.
Like I realize it's discard your hand, then draw 3, but you know.
You can probably make that work, so it's just draw 3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that's how you want this to line up.
Discard Gutter Bones.
Yeah, exactly. Got him.
Yeah. All right. Moving up the list. Number 7. Adam, you love this card.
Yeah, I think this card is sweet. I don't know how, you know, standard playable it is, but man, is it sweet. It's Angel of Grace, which is white, 3. Flash, flying. When Angel of Grace enters the battlefield until end of turn, damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. And it also has an activated ability from the graveyard of white, 4. Exile Angel of Grace from your graveyard. Your life total becomes 10.
And it's a 5/4 angel.
And it's a 5/4 flash flyer, which I think is pretty good. Like this card is definitely gonna kill. Man, this card is gonna. We're gonna get blowout of the week submissions in limited from this card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
But like, if there is a standard deck that plays this card, it just how does it lose the creature mirror if it draws 2 copies of this card?
Yeah, 'cause you just get to attack back for free as they try and kill you.
Yeah. You just always win the race.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like,
yeah.
You just always win the race.
Yeah. Yeah. And that you can keep doing it too. Like it's not legendary or anything. You can just have a bunch of these on the field.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I said like 2 of them if you have 2 of them, because then you just smash them back. You hit them for 5, then hit them for 10.
Mm.
Like, it just takes you drawing 2 of these to like basically win most games. Like, it just seems so powerful to me.
For some reason in my head, when I first read this, I thought the exile it from your graveyard gain or go to 10 was like sorcery speed restricted, but it's not. So like, the red's gonna have a really tough time burning you out.
Right. Like, this card does a lot.
And I haven't seen a lot of people talking about this card at all.
Yeah.
Kinda a lot of people sleeping on it. And I think it's actually a lot better than people give it credit for.
I just think a flash 5/4 flyer is like a lot of damage. Like, it only has to hit you 4 times.
Mhm.
And if it dies, like, you have some built-in insurance that the game, you actually started the game at 30. And then the next one, you started the game at 40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you have so much insurance built in that I think it's a pretty interesting card, like, that has a lot of ways it could play. If it was a 5/5, this card would be bananas.
Mm-hmm.
You like, if it didn't die to Lava Coil and it didn't die to any 4 power creatures, like, if it was a 5/5, this card would be comical. Like, it would easily, I think it would be the best card in set is a 5/5, but already a 5/4, like, 5 power is just so much in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play this with Lyra, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, like, there was already like Red White Angels deck, notably because it doesn't suffer from the Dream Eater problem of having 3 toughness. It survives your own Deafening Clarions if you would cast it.
Yes, it does.
And like, outside of the creature mirrors, which we've sort of been focusing on, just against control, usually these like mid-rangey decks that sort of have clunky finishers suffer against control because, you know, they can just counter your Aurelia, counter your Lyra, and they've killed everything else. But now, like, they have to play this awkward game of, you know, they leave up mana because they want a Glimmer, or not Glimmer. What's the one? Chemist's Insight. But can you flash an Angel? Like, now you're playing at their pace, which doesn't give them time to, like, draw cards when they want to, or sort of have this breathing room.
Mm-hmm.
Flash threats are like, even playing when I was playing Mono Flu, like, even Merfolk Trickster is great against control. Just 2/2 flash.
Yeah, flash is just really powerful against some decks. And people just walk into flash threats, right? People walk into it. And also, if this goes in a deck where you're playing Settle the Wreckage, it's like, they're like, oh, I don't want to attack with everything. I'll just attack with like my 3/3. And you're like, okay.
Flash this Angel in.
Gotcha. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of, it just attacks really hard. So, I don't know. I think it's pretty interesting. Like, it's like so close to being mopey too, though. You know what I mean? It's like so close to being insanely powerful. But also, I could see where like it is just too vanilla to be good. But I think the activated ability from Graveyard gives it like some extra power. Like, I think it's a pretty strong card. I think it's interesting. It's interesting. Like, I want to play around with it, and I think
that is an interesting play pattern of like, are you playing around Settle? Are you worrying about this Angel? Like, what's going on with your opponent's deck? Like, that could be really difficult situations to figure out.
Or just, you know, you think you have lethal, and then you know, through a blocker or through a removal spell.
Yeah.
And then they just flash in an Angel and then kill you on the crackback. You know, like that alone is pretty powerful. So, and
this is making white decks really annoying to attack into. Now they have seal away this.
Yeah, like blue white. I think that there could be like a pretty strong blue white flash deck. You know,
Raph coming back in.
Yeah. Flash him in. Flash him my Teferi. Am I going to play Teferi or Angel every turn? Which one? JK, settle you. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I think it's pretty interesting. I think if there's that, like, you know, sort of Jeskai Legends Flash style deck that Raph was part of, you know, then this is part of that maybe.
Yeah. Definitely. Anyway, moving up. Number 6 on the list, Judith the Scourge Diva. Black, red, 1 generic, human shaman for a 2/2. Other creatures you control get +1/+0. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, Judith deals 1 damage to any target. I think this card is sweet.
Yeah, it is real sweet.
Yeah. It's been actually, like, this is not a card people are sleeping on. Lots of people have been talking about how good this card is. Lots of people writing about it. Lots of people writing up deck lists for various uses for this card. I think it's going to see a crap ton of play.
People have been actively waiting and like prematurely stoked for Aristocrats since they saw Hunted Witness.
Yeah.
And now they're getting a potential payoff. So they're just all over it.
Yeah, now they got a worse Blood Artist.
Yeah, people loved that deck when it was good last Ravnica, and this card obviously very good in that kind of strategy. Not sure if all the payoffs are there.
Definitely not. Not in the same power level we were talking about before. Before was a level of sort of synergy, combination, power, and consistency that's so rare in an archetype.
And if you're unsure if we're right on this, just look up the deck list and you'll be like, well, okay.
It had a combo kill in its aggro deck that could play a mid-range game and grind people out.
It had a 3-drop that creature decks just folded to on its own.
Got to play with Wraths that comboed to kill you. Yeah, the deck just did.
And free sack outlets.
And free sack outlets, for its Blood Artist win condition as well. It just had so much going on, a lot of moving parts. But Judith is sort of part of the tradition of aggro decks trying to find ways to still play aggro, but also have sort of synergy going forward.
Yeah.
When they get brick walled, and a way to sort of play around that.
Yeah, but I like how this creature allows your 1 power creatures to trade into 3 toughness things, hitting any target. It's super powerful.
That's massive. It's not just opponent takes 1, right?
Yeah.
The fact that whenever a creature dies, you can just deal 1 damage to any target is massive. It's that's the key sort of on this card. I think if it was just your opponent loses life, I think this card would be bad. Or not bad, but wouldn't really matter actually. Because then we're talking about a 3-mana 2/2. And that's so mopey. You play it against Moment of Craving and you just lose the game on the spot because you know what I mean? You're an aggro deck and that happened. You spent your turn 3 to get Moment of Craving. But whereas it's and the fact it triggers off itself too, right? It's
good. It's even not bad in multiples, just because it's just a 3-mana Forked Bolt. Then because
they see each other, right?
Exactly. I think there's tons of potential in this card, and it'll be really interesting to see where the lists go to try and take advantage of it.
I'm definitely going to lose games having a Wrath of some sort, a board wipe in my hand, and I'm at 4. My opponent has 4 creatures and a Judith, and I just can't Wrath them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I saw that happen today.
That was sort of the norm for Blood Artists, style things. You're just oh, I'm dead. I have no outs. This puts you in weird pinches. That's sort of it's delayed damage. It's suspend to death.
Yeah.
Suspend 3, you die. Pretty funny. But the card's and pumping your creatures. This is a lot of text on this card. On its own, it's pretty bad, but obviously we ain't playing this in a deck where
it's on its own.
It's on its own.
Yeah.
We're not playing draw go with a Judith finish.
Attack you for 2.
We're playing, dudes.
A lot of dudes.
All right, Cam. Number 5.
So speaking of dying when you cast Wraths to Judith, you maybe might not.
If you got your own
dudes. If you got your own dudes and you're casting Kaya's Wrath. This is it's a sorcery. It costs white, black, 4 mana. It reads, destroy all creatures. You gain life equal to the number of creatures you controlled that were destroyed this way.
The 4-mana Wrath is back, boys.
Yeah, pretty prohibitive casting cost, but
yeah, I don't think it'll matter that much.
Agreed.
Yeah. This is...
I think Asper can cast this no problem. I think Mardu decks end up popping up. I think there's everyone who can cast this card is going to have it in their 75.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just, it's a nice upgrade from Ritual of Soot because...
It's an unbelievable upgrade. That card's trash.
Yeah, because the things that you actually care about are Carnage Tyrants and, whatever else huge. One of our honorable mentions is the Octopus. That thing's going to be hexproof and you got to deal with these huge things.
You gotta.
Oh, they're going to kill you.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, we haven't had a 4-mana Wrath since last time we were on Ravnica. It's been a long time.
Yeah, wow. It's been so long.
Yeah.
It feels like only yesterday that I was supreme verdicting people back to the Stone Age. Get off my board.
And so, it's kind of weird in that only gains life from creatures you control, which suggests that you're, somewhat wrathing yourself or you're playing creatures. Like,
Well, yeah, she killed the Ghost Council.
yeah. And I guess they were on her team.
Yeah.
and
Same team, man.
But like, yeah, my first reaction when I see a 4-mana Wrath isn't to put it in a creature deck, it's to put it in a control deck. So it's going to be interesting, like, if they're like value creatures or what creep into control decks. Like,
Well, it plays well with Afterlife, right? Being an
Yeah, that's
Afterlife.
So.
I don't think it matters though. I think
I think that, like, I'm just curious, like, if there will be a control deck that mixes creatures in some way to like take advantage of this. Like, it's probably going to be like Karn Tezzeret, some artifacts laying around that this gains life off of, or.
Oh, that's sweet.
But I'm not sure.
Just being able to, like, if you have Tezzeret, just being like, well, I got like 6 Thopters, but I might die here to this massive board. I'll just fire off this guy's Wrath and gain 6 and then Wrath everything and start over. That's pretty, like that's like a situation. Like, it's a situationally better Wrath in some, right? Like, there's B times where you gotta nuke your Chromium because you're at 3 and they're gonna lightning strike you maybe.
Or maybe this is like the it could be a control like a board control card or the finisher in like some weird aristocrats deck, right? You like march for a billion, untap, Wrath. Your Judith kills them and you gain a bunch of life.
Yeah, like the aristocrats, like Marty aristocrats deck.
Yeah, like why are you guys looking for sack outlets? Just Wrath yourself and gain life.
Yeah, with Judith. Yeah, that's everyone's looking at this all wrong. You just got to blow up your own dudes.
Yeah, you guys are just.
It's literally on the card.
Yeah, you're too greedy. I only want to kill some of my guys. Just all or nothing.
Yeah, no, that's actually that is actually pretty interesting that you could play it in that deck as a stopgap if you. It would just take the format to line up that deck could play a slow game.
Yeah,
and I feel like it can't. And I feel like you can't play a slow game. You can't slow down if you're a Mopey deck because of Teferi.
Yeah, true.
It's like the one card. I think you could like goof around and do almost anything you wanted. Like the Vannifar decks would be like pretty great. It just depends how much our people are playing Teferi. Because Teferi is like a card that you can't goof around because you just lose on the spot.
We can concede game 1 and board these out.
Yeah. Like Teferi is like the best card. Yeah, it's just so obnoxious. And it's just such a fun police, because you don't have much time and they get to interact right away. Miserable. Anyway. Yeah, 4-mana. Well, and also enjoy getting 4-mana Wrath into Teferi.
Out of the Teferi decks, yeah.
Yeah, like that's why this card's so obnoxious to me too. It's like, oh, so like now the Teferi decks just have 4-mana Wrath so that they can like Wrath you and then still have like, the turn after like 3 to 4 mana because they untap 2 lands with Teferi, like the same turn they Wrath you so that they also have like Chemister's Insight and Settle Out, or like, you know what I mean? Like Sinister Sabotage. They just have like all their mana still up, like in Teferi decks. Like, yeah, that's sweet. Esper deck's gonna be so good, man.
I'm looking forward to it. But
yeah, I am too.
Maybe not playing against them.
I'm not looking forward to the mirror.
A lot of duress is going to be flying around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I know leading into this top 10, we said that we generally leave boring removal spells off the list.
Yeah, this one's not boring.
This one's not boring. We haven't seen one of these in forever.
Yeah, and also it's, you can take 1 hit for the team, have a boring card, but yeah, no, it's a huge deal. 4-mana Wrath's a massive deal.
Yeah.
And it's a unique Wrath, interesting, sort of effect in what it tries to ask players to do, although I don't think that text is going to matter. But yeah, no, it's just a game changer, huge game changer.
Yeah, definitely. All right, number 4, Hero of Precinct 1. 2-mana 2/2, 1 and a white, human warrior. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 1/1 human creature token. So, I don't know about you guys, but we've seen cards like this before. Young Pyromancer. Was that card any good?
It's fine.
Recommended here, right underneath this card on what website are we on? Mythic Spoiler?
Yeah.
Thesaurus, first thing, Young Pyromancer.
This card also plays very well with another busted standard card, Heroic Reinforcements.
You get 3 2/2s instead of 2?
I think this card has a lot of potential to be busted.
Yeah. You could play it like in green-white even. Like there's lots. There's lots of places you can play with this. I think also that I haven't seen people talking about it, but the blue-white versions with like Deputy of Detention, like the detention sphere creature.
Mhm.
Yep.
Like that is
Play it with Dovin if you want.
Yeah, Dovin like triggers it, and then you can draw a card or whatever.
I mean, like they're comparable. Look at the work that people used to do a couple formats ago to play a Ketra's Monument decks
Yeah, people used to jump through tons of hoops to make that card work.
just to get 1/1s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Ketra's Monument was foolish.
Yeah.
Although the discount was a big deal.
The discount was a big deal, but you were also playing cards that you wouldn't play if they weren't discounted. So like,
Yeah, like Cloud Blazer.
yeah. So it was a big deal. But yeah, like it's similar, right? It's just this thing that sits around and makes a bunch of 1/1s, and that was really good at some point, and it probably will be again.
And this is just a body on its own, whereas like Ketra's Monument, there were times where like,
Yeah, and it's legendary. And
it's legendary and it did nothing sometimes, and it was so awkward.
You ever have 2 of these in play and you just pop off.
Yeah.
Yeah. This card also plays fantastic with Judith, another card on our list.
Yeah.
You know what it plays great with? Kaya's Wrath. You gain an extra life.
Yeah. So you'll notice our back-to-back cards here have synergy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. But this card is a sort of build around possibility for the format that has a lot of potential, especially with the mana now that like we can play this across multiple. Like this is obviously just going in a 3-color deck, right?
Or more.
Yeah, but people have started with just Boros, right? Like Tajic.
Yeah. I've seen like Mardu lists. I've seen Bant lists. I've seen,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you can try out so much with this card. And it just kind of snowballs a lot of value, similar to like Amara, I think, in that like it's build around and kind of just starts generating a lot of value. But I think isn't like completely degenerate. You know what I mean? It's like same with Amara. It's like Amara still sees play and still a good card, but it's not like you're never like, oh, that card's unbeatable. I'm dead now, And I think this card similarly is like a fair, good build around. Like it's a well designed. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
I think it's not gonna like ruin the form. Like
No, I'm not saying it's going to ruin the format. I just think it's like incredibly powerful, like a lot more powerful than you would assume on its face.
It's probably about the level I assume it is.
It's definitely got a high ceiling. There's definitely games it's going to run away with.
Yeah, which is what I think my assessment is like, there are times where it's like, okay, because your draw doesn't line up really well where you want to cast things on the time. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the issues. But in like
say you're playing Drakes and your opponent plays this on 2. The games you have a shock, you're like, oh, okay, no big deal. And the games you don't have a shock and you just have to like scry and draw and like wait to set up for Drakes and they make like 3 tokens, like
yeah, it's like Amara in that sense where it's like there are games where it just pops up. But this deck, it's easier for this card to go nuts than like Amara, obviously, like because you can make multiple a turn, you can like cast a bunch of multicolored spells without having to attack with it. Like it can just sit there. So it's pretty powerful, but like
this card has to be playable in Modern Humans, right? You just shuffle that deck up a bit, play a few more multicolored guys. Super good with Thalia's Lieutenant.
Yeah, that is a combo with Thalia's Lieutenant. But no, I don't think you can afford to.
Why?
Well, because like you can't cut Hierarch. Like,
and you're deck's aiming to violin half its creatures. So
you got to violin a bunch of guys. Like,
so you're not
so if you move that stuff around, but then also the problem is like, you're playing like Thalia's Lieutenants. Like you're not cutting those cards.
You have a lot of different colored cards, but how many are actually multicolored in that deck? Like Mantis Rider, Meddling Mage.
Well, like it wouldn't. No, I'm not saying like the deck as it current exists, but it could there's probably a Modern Humans deck that can really take advantage of this card.
Play this.
Yeah.
Probably not as good though.
Yeah. Who knows? I have no idea.
Yeah, but like, I think Thalia's Lieutenant is super powerful with this card. But the card's interesting.
Yeah.
It still has like requirements, what I mean?
Of
like
course,
deck building requirements, but they're pretty easy. It's like not like it's like Young Pyro. Well, Young Pyro and Legacy and Modern, it's like easy to just cast spells because spells are busted. But in Standard, it was like not really that playable.
No.
Whereas this in Standard is playable, but probably actually not as playable in the older formats. It's actually kind of funny because like spells.
Yeah.
Like Fatal Push is, one of the best spells. And you know what I mean? Like Modern and Legacy just like don't cast multicolored spells really. Like they don't care. Whereas it's kind of funny. It's like Young Pyro wasn't huge in standard, but this probably will be.
Yeah. It's only $1.50 right now, this card.
Yeah, that's pretty cheap. Yeah, it has a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty good. For $1.50,
Yeah.
I would probably just buy 4 because $1.50 on a pre-orders.
Already did.
It's not
Like
it's
nothing.
It's not just $1.50 though. You got to invest like 10, 20 cents in some 1/1 tokens.
Oh yeah, that's like it. Well, actually,
Speaking of tokens,
Oh
you guys
yeah.
look at
we
these
got a
yet?
giant stack.
they came in?
Yeah, came in.
All our tokens came in for our patrons.
Oh yeah, we're gonna mail these out.
Yeah, we got to start mailing them
That's
out.
gonna be the worst part. Is just going writing on envelopes,
Mm-hmm.
millions of names on envelopes.
But yeah, if you guys didn't know, we do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/DWC Podcast. And our patrons we got these tokens made for our patrons. And if you join the Patreon, you can get access to our Discord and a few copies of these sweet DWC tokens.
They do look sweet.
Yeah.
They
When I
look,
see these things,
but yeah,
that's dope.
yeah.
Yeah. They're awesome. Anyway, moving on. Number 3. This might be my favorite card in the set.
Who's up to read? Is this me?
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
All right. This one is Rhythm of the Wild. It's 3 mana. It costs 1 red, green. It's an enchantment. First line of text. Creature spells you control can't be countered.
Sweet. Sign me up.
Everyone who hates control, rejoice. Second line of text. Non-token creatures you control have Riot. So again, this is you can choose as they enter the battlefield to give them haste or a +1/+1 counter. And third line of text is flavor text.
Yeah, this card's really powerful.
Yeah, I think this card's amazing. I love it.
I didn't realize I mentioned this last week on the podcast that somebody pointed out that Riot stacks.
Yes, it does.
And I was outraged. It's that's so powerful. Such an incredibly powerful thing to stack.
Yeah, Riot. I think like it's definitely one of the more powerful, maybe the most powerful of the 5 mechanics. But it's also like every time I learn something new about Riot, it makes less sense. Like I wouldn't expect it to stack, and it does. The creatures gain haste permanently. You just have to remember that they have it. If your opponent steals it, it still has haste. They can attack.
Does it actually? That's
Yeah.
how it works.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
man.
I was reading the release
The rules
notes earlier
article.
today.
Yeah. The patch note. The
'Cause
patch
it just says with haste. Doesn't say until end of turn.
Yeah.
It's like the old Obsidat thing.
Yeah.
They just have haste forever now
Yeah.
Hmm.
with no indication.
Yeah, that's actually kind of annoying.
Right. Because what if you put a counter on it some other way? What if you're playing Teamer and you put some Simic stuff on it?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
You just have to remember,
I kind of like that actually. You know,
I guess. But,
get some, just demanding things of people. Well,
Yeah.
they're moving to Arena now, so it doesn't matter.
oh, true. It'll tell you.
But in paper, judge. Can't wait.
Yeah. Now, a lot of potential with this card. Not only just in green-red aggro decks, but also combo Prime Speaker Vanifar decks, if you want to go deep.
Yeah, and just sort of like a 4-color decks if you're interested in playing. You know what I mean? Like you can put this in anything. Mana's so good that you can play whatever you want. And yeah, it just powering up all your guys and making them, it might end up that it just ends up, as in the sideboard for
Yeah.
decks, but even then it's going to be a really powerful necessary effect. Like versus control, like this card's so obnoxious.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All your creatures have haste and aren't countered on, can't
And
be
it,
countered.
like-
That's basically a Planeswalker ultimate, right? Like all your creatures have haste and can't be countered.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It plays really well with mana dorks as well, right? Because like generally the downside of enchantments is you have to take a turn off. But because it's only 3 mana, if you have dorks, you're only taking turn 2 off for an enchantment, which as we've seen with this Kanta, etc., is fine. But then also, if you have 1 or 2 of these late game, your dorks now aren't dead draws. They're 3/3s.
yeah, like your
Yeah.
Llanowar Elf's
It plays like super well with those.
just a hefty boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You bit eaten.
Yeah. I think we're going to see
Come at me,
a
Stubborn
ton
Sentry.
of this card in Standard, and I can't wait to start playing with it.
Yeah, I'm going to lose to it lots.
Yeah. What are the main deckable like incidental enchantment hate? Ooh,
Mortify.
I'm just gonna Brontodon people.
Yeah, Brontodon's good. Mortify.
Assassin's Trophy.
Yeah, Mortify's best one.
I get to play my Brontodon with Riot and attack you for 3 and then blow up your Rhythm of the Wild. Get out.
You have You also have Knight of Autumn, Rex Sage, Vivian Reed. There's tons of ways to kill enchantments.
Yeah, there are lots. Yeah.
Which is probably good.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Like, it's having all these huge options. Like, we talked about this like during the sort of terrible year and a half that was the last standard. We talked about one of the reasons the old Ravnica and why we were so excited for this was that one of the features of the Ravnica sets were that like there were so many options. You know, you would be sitting there, okay, do I play, this, removal spell or that one? Like you had so many options, and it depended on the meta, and you could change things depending on how you change your curve.
Yeah.
And I feel like we still have that. Like the fact that you just said, well, there's lots of ways to kill an enchantment. You list some bunch in different colors, in the same colors, across colors. Yeah. So it's good. Like this card isn't going to just, control's just not playable now and just completely destroyed. And like control's ruined because this dumb enchantment they printed, right? Like we're not going to be in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty nice to see.
Yep. Definitely. All right. Number 2. Growth Chamber Guardian. 2 mana, 2/2. Green and 1, Elf Crab Warrior. It has Adapt for 3 mana, green and 2, Adapt 2. And whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put on it, you can search your library for another copy and put it into your hand.
Yeah, that's nuts.
This is probably the card that will see the most play in Standard from this set.
Possibly, yes, because it is an elf.
Yep.
So people trying to elf ball people, which I think is a reasonable strategy. 100%.
And it's a crab if you're trying to crab ball people.
Right. If you're trying to wish coin crab, Vanquisher's banner on crab.
Oh, yeah. Snip, snap.
The gator's a crab too, right?
Yeah.
Sharkdo Crab.
Sharkdo crab.
Sharkdo crab.
Yeah.
We got crabs. But yeah. The fact that it's in a tribe that's very powerful, historically very powerful, but has Llanowar Elves and this and whatever, but also it's just a solid mid-range threat. Like, you just can attack as a 4/4 on turn 3 and go get another copy if you have nothing else going on.
Yeah.
That its adapt cost is so cheap, and on curve with its mana cost is really nice.
Yeah, and like so good as a late game draw too. Just 5 mana, make a 4/4, get another 2/2.
Get another 4/4.
Yeah.
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 It's just exactly this sort of grindy mid-range card that you want.
Plays fantastic with Rhythm of the Wild. 2 mana, 3/3. Go search another one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually nuts.
Yeah. And like, it's every time this card gets a +1/+1 counter too. So if you're doing like Hadana's Climb stuff, like you don't even have to adapt it to just trigger it every turn.
Yeah. So you can pull all Growth Chamber Guardians out of your deck. And effects like this have been very powerful historically. So yeah, I think this card's phenomenal.
It's there's
being a 2/2 is the only thing. If it was a 2/3,
that'd be insane.
Yeah.
It'd just be out of control.
Attacking with a 4 or 5 on turn 3. Never mind. That's actually ridiculous.
That's
so dumb. That's actually so stupid.
Yeah, that's probably a reason why it's
I'm
not
looking at the art a bit closer now. Does it have human arms and crab arms?
Yes.
Yeah. It's got human arms with crab claws as for hands, but like full crab arms as hands.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
The lobster boy.
Man, the Simic are crazy.
Yeah, Simic are wild.
True visionaries.
All right.
The Simic are just like...
There's a lot...
You know those kids that like they're drawing like fantasy beasts when they're like young, right? They're like, it's a guy, but he's got like 3 arms and
a chainsaw.
Like whoever came up with Trogdor.
Yeah.
He grew up to be in the Simic.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, we're already at number 1? This card's the best.
Staying on Simic theme.
This is the best card in the set. It's the sweetest.
Well, of
the
course,
coolest.
it's number 1.
It's Hydroid Krasis.
Yeah, man.
Oh, it's a green-blue X. And it's a jellyfish Hydra Beast. The Simic are wild.
Nothing,
right?
You don't have to read anything else. Best card in the set.
Oh, man. Pre-order me some. Yeah. Also, it has flying and trample.
Yes, it does.
And it's XX, power and toughness. So blue-green X. And when you cast, now when it enters, you gain half X life and draw half X cards. Round down each time. And draw X cards.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's actually just pull from,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty close to pull from one. But it's a cast trigger again. Like,
Yeah, and then it enters play with X +1
Can't be
+1
stopped.
counters.
like there's one card.
It's just Sphinx's Revelation on a body, right?
Yeah.
So there's one card in standard that can stop this cast trigger, right? And it's that like new
The
Simic
Simic
split card that no one's
Yeah.
going to play.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
This card's so powerful. It's so weird when you read it though, because it's gain half X life and draw X cards.
Oh,
It's half X cards. That's all. Yeah. So, you pay 4 mana for this, you gain a life and draw a card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
It reads. Oh, I see. It says half on the card, but they translated it wrong on the webpage.
Yeah.
Okay. I was confused.
Yeah.
But it's half both times.
Yeah. It's half
Yeah.
both.
Okay.
But like, it's nuts.
Mhm.
Like, that's a huge body.
Yeah, man.
Obviously not Sphinx Revelation, but
But it's not like far off.
just the fact that it's on a huge body is I don't know, like a big deal to me. Like, what was the one that we played for a while? The Hydra that looked at the top of cards.
Genesis side?
Genesis Hydra. Like, people played that card. It was a staple across standard for its time played, and it was very good. There were times where you'd cast Genesis Hydra and just get a Scavenging Ooze and just be thrilled.
Mm-hmm.
Like-
And this gives you multiple, draw steps not into play, but the fact that it gains life is massive. Like, I think this card's insane.
Flying trample are good keywords, but the best part of it is that first line of text. But if you ignore that, like generally these sort of big ramp decks, what's their biggest fear, right? They spend all this time playing dorks and ramping or doing whatever, and they finally produce a big threat. And if that gets answered, they have nothing else going on. You just don't care if this gets answered. You just you drew something else. You drew another one. You drew other big things. Like
That's exactly it.
it's a threat that you don't have to care about that will sometimes kill your opponent. Like
I think if you draw, I think you probably want, at minimum, you want to be drawing 2 off of it.
So 6 mana.
Yeah. And I think that's
That's pretty good.
nuts. Because then you're looking at like a 4/4 that draws 2 and gains 2 life when it comes into play. That's a crazy card.
Mm-hmm.
The minute we move up the next ring to a 6/6 that draws 3 and gains 3, that's insanity. Right? Like that's when you're like, okay, like I lose. Like the game's over.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's flying, like it blocks in the air, trample, so like it gets past like dumb afterlife, spirit tokens, like it's on cast. So yeah, when like you can play this against control decks and not be afraid. That's another big part, right? Is that normally like ramp decks have like only 1 or 2 threats, and then they, it gets countered and they lose. Whereas this just refuels and
like comparing to other flying trample threats that fix your draws in standard, like Doom Whisper's got to be feeling pretty embarrassed.
Yeah, this card's asking a lot. You know what I mean? Because it's like terrible if you.
Oh, it's a lot of mana. Yeah.
Yeah. If you cast it for, as a 2/2
On turn 3.
as you cast it as a 2/2 and draw a card and gain a life, it's like pretty bad.
Yeah.
But once it's just scale. It's just trying to scale to the late game. Yeah. I think this card's sweet. It's just sweet. And Growth Spiral is, what I'm looking to do here.
Yep.
Put some mana in. You know what I'm actually going to play around with is like Circuitous Route decks, just ramp decks that play this card. I've been playing around with arena ramp decks for the last week anyway already. So
hear me out. We play Nikita of the Old Ways.
Nikia
of the Old Ways. So all my lands tap for 2, and then I can play it on turn. You have 5 lands, 10 mana. You got a 4/4. The game's
over.
Yeah, you got a massive dude, massive jellyfish Hydra.
Yeah, and you just played in your teamer deck where you have Rhythm of the Wild and they can't counter it anyway. And
yeah, man.
Wait, for 10 mana, you
10 mana,
you draw 4 gain for you, but you have an 8/8.
You have an 8/8, yeah.
Yeah, draw 4 game 4, you have an 8/8.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
There's potential, guys.
Yeah, Nikia
seems
as a ramp payoff though, I think it's like pretty good. I just think it's a sweet card.
Oh yeah, it's sweet.
It's definitely not going to be like an oppressive 4-of. It's definitely also not the like standard staple in our top 10. It might not even see any play, but man, is it sweet.
I think it'll see play.
I agree.
For sure.
Yeah. I think that like Drake's decks might play it.
Yeah.
Like in the deck you were mentioning where people were playing Gross Spiral or whatever.
Yeah.
In their like Crackling Drake decks. It's like, yeah, just play like 2 Hydroid Crisis too. Just I don't know.
There was also 2 copies of Rhythm of the Wild in that deck. Nice. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
Drake's with haste.
Well, yeah, Maximize Velocity.
Oh, man.
Why would I play Maximize Velocity when I can just have all my Drakes have haste?
Seems good.
Yeah. But the Drake's deck often has like 8 land. Games go late with that. Again, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's quite common for the games to go late. And so 8 mana is at the point where, okay, I have a 6/6 flyer and I drew 3 and gained 3.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Like I'm saying, normal decks can play this card, even though it seems really mana intensive. Like I don't think it necessarily is.
Yeah. We've only scraped the surface of our Jellyfish Hydra Beast.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, and that wraps up our top 10.
We got some honorable mentions too.
Yeah, we do, but lots of cool cards in this set.
Yeah, there are definitely a lot of cool cards.
Mm-hmm. I love Ravnica.
Yeah, they're always like, well, it's just multicolored sets. You know, it's so funny that, you know, it's just important how important diversity is, you know? When we were in an artifact set, just mono misery,
Yeah.
you know? Now we're in this celebratory and diverse world. It's just a lovely place to be.
2019 looking great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some honorable mentions. We had Frilled Mystic.
Oh, yeah, Mystic Snake.
Mystic Snake 2.0.
Yeah, that card also in the right tribe.
Yeah.
You know, the elf tribe. Strong.
It's an elf.
Yeah, man. It's an elf lizard wizard.
Was that banned?
Yeah, dude, the lizard wizard or with like I know what you're talking about.
Someone gumbo in the
Yeah. They have like a song, one of their music videos.
Google this. We'll find the name.
In
Just
the
search,
desert.
like,
In the desert, right? And it's like it's actually they're
Lizard Wizard Band.
yeah,
Because their
just
name
type
is
Lizard
crazy
Wizard.
and that'll come up.
They're actually pretty sweet.
I haven't listened to their stuff, but I watched some YouTube
King
videos.
Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
them. They're Rattlesnake. That's the song I'm thinking of. That song is sick.
I watched some YouTube video essays about them.
About King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rattlesnake is a sweet song.
Right on.
Yeah, for listeners. And looking for some. It's a pretty sweet video too, actually. Yeah. I'm surprised you know who that is.
Only vaguely.
Because it's not like your musical style.
Well, yeah, but watching any random thing on YouTube is my style.
That is definitely your style. They're a weird.
Oh, yeah. They use sound clips. They were talking about how weird their music was and how hard it is for them to like perform or like the struggles they had recording it or something.
Yeah. It's not that weird, but it's weird. It's not like.
I forget the details of the essay, but yeah.
But it's definitely pretty funky. Like it's unique. Yeah, it's cool. You can check it out if you're.
Also on our list, we had Terramander, the new Delver.
Yeah, I don't know that one, but this card, it wasn't on our top 10, even though it might see more play and have a longer lifespan than all of the cards on our list.
Yeah, you're
because
probably right.
of modern and legacy. Like it might end up, 2 mana 5/5 is pretty good.
Yeah, 2 mana 5/5 flyer. I think that's a little ahead of the curve when we really compare creatures, these days.
The Treasure Cruise creature,
Yeah,
aka the Treasure Cruise Salamander Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, card has a lot of potential for sort of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
very playable in older formats, and probably still fine in standard.
Yeah, Drake's decks can cast this card.
I'm still putting it in just mono blue.
Yeah.
You could also do that.
Miss Cloak Herald, get out. Terramander, get in.
Yeah, because if you just get to make it a 5/5 for 4 mana, you're happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what's the rate at which you pay?
It doesn't have to be 2 mana 5/5 in standard. Like 3 to 4 is pretty good.
Yeah, 3 or 4 mana 5/5 flyers, pretty good when it already was attacking in the air. So
and it still plays as a 1-drop early with evasion to put Curious Obsessions on. So
yeah, card's pretty
for
good.
Sure. Theater of Horrors, 3 mana and kind of outpost siege effect.
Yeah, it's like if they took damage, you can play cards exiled. At the beginning of your turn, you exile a card.
Yeah. And then it has the 4 mana activation that to ping.
A creature or a planeswalker, which is important, right?
Opponent or
opponent or planeswalker.
Yeah, but planeswalker is big.
But that's huge, yeah. If it was just opponent, I would not be as interested. But the fact that we have an enchantment that can just sit on the battlefield and make sure Teferi doesn't lose us the game right away, like that's a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah. And also, unlike the Outpost Siege cards, that once the card's exiled, that's it. It's till end of turn. This card stacks them up, right?
Yeah.
Theater of Horrors lets them all sit there. I wish they had. Well, maybe that's not a good idea if they kept that effect on Outpost Siege, but it's pretty cool that like they're not gone forever.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. So
Yeah, Outpost Siege would be nuts if you could play.
Yeah, I realized as soon as I said it, I was like,
play Outpost Siege. It exiles a land. Like you can play.
I've just been trying to like push for busted cards. Apparently, I
just want more.
Yeah. Also, Girl Spellbreaker, Ravager Worm, just some good old Riot cards.
Yeah, cards that are pretty powerful. Yeah, man. Ravager Worm is so interesting. It's like I wonder how good it's going to be and if it is going to be good. Because fight cards kind of suck, but at the same time, like a 5/6 that fights is pretty good. You know what I mean? It's like that thing's going to just kill everything when it comes into play.
Yeah. And you know if you have a Rhythm of the Wild in play, that card's just unbeatable.
Yeah, 5/6, fight your guy, attack you for 5. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
Is there
Glorybringer looking weak?
Yeah.
Looking like he's getting his face shoved in the sand at the beach.
Like Doom Whisper is the only thing that's seen any play in the last while that thing wouldn't just stomp on.
Yeah, but if you have a Rhythm of the Wild, it could just stomp it anyway.
Isn't it a 5/6 with Rhythm? I thought it was a 4/5 normally.
It's a 4/5 with Riot.
So we can double up.
So if you have Rhythm, it's a 6/7 that fights whatever. Woo. Yeah. It's a hefty boy.
I almost can't count
It's
that.
a meaty, just a meaty fella. So yeah, that card's pretty sweet. Although it's no octopus.
No.
I don't even know the name of that card.
It's like
the octopus?
Mesmeric Benthoid or
it's probably Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Mesmeric Benthid.
Mesmerizing
Benthid.
That card's sweet. There's a 5 mana 4/5 that makes 2 illusions that when they block something, it doesn't untap, right?
Yeah.
And then if you have an illusion or whatever, has hexproof.
Yeah.
Card's sweet, man. That's a lot of value for 5 mana. A 4/5 hexproof.
A lot of stats,
2,
a lot of bodies.
Yeah, exactly. Just need a way to Restoration Angels. Bad boy will never lose.
We didn't even talk about
quasi-duplicate.
Electro Dominance, which is a card that people have been
a lot of people
going nuts about for Modern.
Yeah, Electro Dominance is interesting because you can cast like Ancestral and everything off of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the only reason it's playable to me is like you're doing just
for sure.
busted. Like this card is only doing unfair things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Shout outs to Mass Manipulation for being just a comical. I'm gonna play this in a ramp deck as a one of, or like have it in the sideboard. So like you can live Blow Dreams. Like just take all of it. Dude, it's just gain control of X target creatures and or planeswalkers. This is actually like an interesting thing that Mono Blue hasn't had access to something like this, where it can just take a planeswalker.
It's a lot of mana for Mono Blue.
No, I mean like as a color.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just,
I thought you were just talking about the deck.
Yeah, no.
Bolus Clutches could take any permanent, and I think that was about it.
Yeah. But like it's rare. That's what I'm saying. Like it's just a rare effect.
Yeah, they're starting
to
do
like,
more.
I just want to ramp and just like take 3 things. Like, okay, give me your Vraska, give me your like, you know what I mean? Give me your big wild growth walker and give me that. I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
And the art is awesome.
Yeah, the art's sweet.
Yeah, the card's really funny.
There's a lot of sweet art in this set.
Yeah, the art's really good.
There's one card where it's like a Rakdos Reveler playing with a little puppet of Jace.
Yeah, that one's good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, called Guild Mage.
They're all on stage, yeah. Yeah, there are definitely, I think, shout outs to all the 4-drop cycle in Limited, which are all nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Are they all nuts?
Yeah, I think they're all really good.
Frilled Mystic, great. Sunder Shaman, big, good. Firewheeler.
That card's nuts.
Wait, it does 2 to something creature?
Yeah.
2 damage to an opponent. Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, card nuts.
Flying Vigilance 4/3, crazy. Don't even care what the rest of it says. Each opponent discards a card and you gain 3 life. That's just Rhino. These are all insane.
Yeah, they're all nuts. They were all nuts last time.
Yeah.
Was there a bad one last time? No, they're all nuts. Of the 4-drop cycle?
Yeah, Fine Broker was good.
Fine Broker's insane in limited.
True Fire Captain, nuts.
Yeah.
Also insane in limited. Like, that's what I mean. In limited, they're
Nightfall
all...
Predator busted.
Like, that card's... That's the hardest one to beat.
Crackling Drake, modern playable.
Right. Like,
It's fine in limited, yeah.
no, it's good.
Card.
Definitely good
like
limited.
it'd be like a 2 or
Conclave
3.
Cavalier, busted and limited.
Actually, maybe better than Night Vale, just not in the right color. You know what I mean? Like, just in a weaker guild, but like, that might have been the best one in limited. That every time I had to play versus it, I was like, I think I just lose to this card. Like, I can't.
Conclave Cavalier?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's annoying.
It's really annoying in limited.
Yeah.
No, like all these cards are nuts in limited.
I don't know. Basilica Bellhaunt's probably the worst out of the whole cycle, like all 10.
Yeah, it's still nuts though.
Discard a card and you gain 3 life. Yeah, maybe.
Like, it's just always going to be a 2-for-1.
Yeah, but
And you gain 3. Like, it's still nuts. But
I
yeah,
think-
I agree. It's the worst one. But like, True Fire Captain was the worst one.
Yeah.
Of the other ones, maybe that and Crackling Drake, but they were still good. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it was definitely Crackling Drake's the worst one, then True Fire Captor's second worst.
Yeah,
but it didn't
for
matter
limited.
because it was in the best guild.
worst for limited. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying in limited. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care about constructed. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think any of these are playable in constructed besides Mystic, like Frilled Mystic. But in limited, like, they're bananas. If you're looking when you build your sealed this weekend, if you're looking at multicolored cards, are all usually like pretty powerful, you know. Like, if they have mana
generally.
costs that are difficult, that means, you know, if
Probably
you're
pay
new to the
attention.
game, that you can look for that, you know, sort of a really restrictive mana cost is usually there for a reason.
Yep.
If you want to play in a pre-release this weekend, where can you do so?
Well, let me tell you, Wizards Tower here in Ottawa, running pre-release events starting at midnight on Saturday, and then 3 events on Saturday, 9 a.m.,
2 p.m.
2 p.m., and
a
Two-Headed Giant.
2 p.m. at Two-Headed Giant at 7 or something, I think.
I think so. Yeah, and then I think
And then 9 and 2 on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of sweet pre-release events. I'm going to be playing in both on Saturday.
What do you mean both? I'm doing all 3 on Saturday.
I'm not doing midnight. I'm not a crazy person.
Yeah, I kind of audibled into that, and we'll see how it goes. It's been a while
Yeah.
since I did the midnight.
But yeah, great sponsor of this podcast, great events. Hit them up for all your single needs and pre-release this weekend. And anything else? Wrap this guy up.
Yeah. I'm good.
Sweet. Thank you all for joining the club this week. Make sure, as always, check out wizardtower.com for all your Magic single needs. And if you want to get in contact with us, you can find us on Facebook, the Disorganized Wizard Club Podcast, on Twitter at DWC Podcast 1. Or if you want to support the show, find us on Patreon, patreon.com/DWC Podcast. All patrons get access to the DWC Discord. We've got some sweet tier goals and these awesome DWC custom tokens coming out to our patrons soon. And however you listen to the show, whether it's on Podbean, iTunes, Google Play, any podcast app, leave us a review, rate the podcast, share it with your friends. Everything keeps this thing growing and bring it to new listeners. We'll catch you all next week.
Later.